Good evening or afternoon, whatever it is, wherever you're at. Welcome. I am your host today, Hannah Summerall, and I do apologize that my angle is all weird if you're watching the video portion of this. I'm on my phone and my brain can't seem to figure it out today to make it where I look good. Oh well, I'm still here. So, hello and welcome to Self-Love Week on Laws of Community. Ronald is not with us. He might jump on here in the middle like he does sometimes, but he is working currently. Gotta go make that money. Anyway, so this is not a recording this week. Woohoo! Because I think we had a recording the past 2 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I'm live. I'm here. If you have any comments, I am in the wrong link. So if you have any comments, my engineer will have to throw your comments up on our live little video here, and then I will see them. But yeah, if you're here, thank you for joining us. I appreciate your presence. And nonetheless, let's get into Self-Love Week. So this week particularly, we are focusing on mothers and self-love for them. And yeah, my camera angle is just really making me mad. So I'm sorry, like if my mom's watching, she's probably gonna be like, you need to fix that. But anyway, self-love week for moms in specific, because our guest specifically works with moms to help them to become less frazzled, get all their to-do list things done, and have some peace while they're at it. So yeah, nonetheless, let's just go ahead and jump in and bring our guest on here since I'm the only one. Y'all don't want to listen to just me. So yeah, Kristen LaValley. She also used to be a nurse. I don't know. Are you still a nurse, Kristen? But yeah, welcome, Kristen.
Thank you.
Question and welcome.
Yes. Well, so the nice thing is that even though I have not worked directly in the medical field for several years, yes, I'm still an RN, but I'm also a
Right.
certified health coach, and that's more where I lean these days.
All right. Yeah, that makes more sense. Like obviously, if you got my sister got schooling, so she's still technically a nurse, but she just doesn't work in the field.
Yeah, you
Well,
don't
she
you
does.
don't
She's
let
a
that
school nurse.
licensure go away. Like you keep that one for forever because you don't want to lose that. It was too much work.
Oh yeah, I definitely understand that. That's where I'm at with my master's thesis. I'm like, I'm almost done with it. It's too much work. I got to finish it.
Yes, absolutely.
So, nonetheless, please go ahead and introduce yourself and tell our audience about you, since I didn't explain much besides working with moms.
That is okay. Now you're a mom yourself. So you know the frazzled and the tired and the feeling like,
Oh
oh my
yes.
goodness, I can't keep it together. And that will get better. But so many moms just struggle with once they have multiple children or even sometimes with one, different personalities lend to different things there. But you know, I do work with moms just to help them to gain some I guess, order to their day, because a lot of moms just don't know how to structure their day. Now, I have been a homeschool mom for 16 years. So I learned pretty quickly that if I was going to take care of my home, take care of my family, get healthy food on the table, and homeschool my children, that there had to be some pretty good structure. Now, I do lean toward my type A personality. So I lean that way. And so some of it comes naturally to me. But I did learn along the way too with how to do that with grace to myself, because so many times we don't show ourselves a whole lot of grace and we can get a little hard on ourselves. So anyway, but I do help moms just kind of get rid of that frazzled chaos and just experience the joy of motherhood. I do everything from a biblical perspective. So I am a Christ-centered coach, and that might be a little bit different than maybe what you've heard of before. But basically, that just means that, I use a lot of scriptural support, a lot of biblical support, because for me, that's where true peace and true joy comes from, right? So that kind of just helps moms who are kind of way out here and frazzled. If they're Christians, that brings it back in if you can get it from a biblical perspective. And a lot of moms want to work with the coach, but a lot of Christian moms want to work with the Christian coach. So that's where I come in.
Oh wow. I never realized that a lot of Christian moms, preferred to stay, kind of with their niche people. And it's so cool how, like, I've noticed they find each other too. Um it's honestly like, there's a word that I can't think of, but yeah, it's absolutely awesome. It's awesome how, specifically moms too, like the Christian dads will have like things as well, but they just come out of the woodworks and they find each other somehow. The moms do.
Yeah. Oh, there's so many support groups now, and that's so good. I mean, like, hopefully someone's plugged into, a good church and they can have a lot of their friends there. But a lot of churches offer MOPS, which is great, mothers of preschoolers. So a lot of women will come together in that community, and that's very helpful. We have a very strong homeschool community. Most states, I will say, not like every state, but everywhere we've lived, there's a really strong homeschool community. And we've always been part of, like a homeschool cooperative. And that's just a blessing, because that's where you can get to know some other moms that are like-minded and kind of living the same thing that you are. But whatever stage you're in, even like if your kids are in school, if you can plug in and even join like the PTA or whatever, you can find other like-minded moms who are going through a lot of the same things as you. That's the thing, is we don't want to struggle alone. That's one thing I've noticed everyone is bad about, Christian community or non-Christian community. So many people just, they just think, I can do it myself. And, like they're just this one person and they can just take care of everything. And, I just encourage people, because that's a lonely way to live. We were not created to live in isolation. We were created for community, and just like your program, right? So we know we were created for community, and so we need one another for support and encouragement. That's super important. And where I come in is just if someone needs a little bit of more one-on-one support, because we are multifaceted human beings, right? Like, we're not just a body. We're a body, a mind, a spirit. And where I come in with that is I do address nutrition and a big food piece, just because a lot of moms are just like shoving in fast food, and they're eating all the convenience foods, which convenience comes at a price to our health. It just really does. We were not designed to put that kind of things in our body. I'm not even going to call it that kind of food in our body, because it's not really food. But I do talk to moms about that, because so many times people don't realize that they could be consuming a completely artificial diet, and that can be causing them to have anxiety or depression. So we do want to come at it from all angles. So we talk about nutrition. We do talk about, of course, like who we are, who we're meant to be, like from a biblical perspective. And then, of course, emotionally, and how we handle stress, sleep, which I'm guessing you're not getting a lot of these days, but I promise that will normalize. But, all of these things are so important for who we are as a whole and how we function as moms. And if we don't have all these things coming together, we're not going to be the best moms we can be. We're going to be really frazzled. So I approach it from all the different angles.
I love that. So that's where technically the holistic would come in, I guess, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Holistic just meaning, total health, who we are completely as a person. Yes.
Right. I absolutely love that. Oh goodness, I had a question and then I got distracted because Ron said that he was not able to get on and he might get on, and I totally got distracted. But I had a question at some point in there and it's totally gone. Oh, I know one thing I was going to say is, yes, we are definitely, because I know we tend to compare ourselves to animals in this household. So, it's like a herd mentality type thing where you have to have people around you. And if you don't, you're gonna get even worse. You're not gonna help your situation at all, and you're not gonna have that support that you truly need to thrive and survive. You know, not just survive but thrive. Um,
Exactly.
in your life. And so I definitely agree with that, that we have to have other humans around us. And you know, this is the this is the time. You know, I have a few groups around me and a few people that I talk to, but I'm definitely you know, gonna be looking for a homeschool group here in the future, and then gonna be, you know, definitely looking for some mom groups myself. And honestly, that's a little bit daunting, just because I'm only 3 weeks in, and I'm like, "Wait, I'm a mom? This is a word to refer to myself as?" So, it's just it's surreal, and I absolutely love that I'm having you on. And, you know, I didn't even think about it when we planned to, have you as a guest, but it is really honestly perfect. I don't know what you think about it, but I think
No,
it's
I love it.
perfect.
Well, and I will say to you, be so gentle with yourself and just kind of absorb these moments. Like, because my kids are 22, 20, and 13. So I'm like an old mom now, right? So I can say, like, I might be old enough to be your mom. I don't know. But, you know, I can definitely say absorb those moments, even when you're like so tired. Just soak in every moment and just be gentle with yourself. You don't have to rush ahead and like get into that next stage. Just enjoy the babies, enjoy the toddlers, enjoy, because they grow up. And even with me homeschooling all of my kids, it's so crazy because I was with them 24/7, right? And I feel like I blinked and they were gone. They grow up so quickly. So, you know, just enjoy the moments. One of the big things that, if I could change anything about my parenting, that I tell moms, because I am type A, I'm pretty tightly wound, and like I lean a little bit more like toward, just gotta have this structure, and you need to eat this way, and but we don't want to be so rigid that we break instead of bend, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I say that for me, if I could talk to my, younger mother self, being me, like 15 years ago or whatever, I would just say, enjoy the moments, live in each moment, and don't rush anything. And definitely don't be so tightly wound that, like, it's okay for them to make a mess. It's okay. They're going to make mistakes. Like, let them make mistakes. And we're going to make mistakes as parents. And it's just important to show yourself grace and just to be very gentle with yourself with that. So enjoy even these really tiring early years.
Yeah, I definitely have been trying to do that. You know, I like the nice quiet moments where he's not crying, I'm not stressing, and I can just kind of soak it in and just be there.
Yes.
So yeah, I definitely agree with that. And if anyone takes anything away from this, you know, even if you're not a mom, like, just enjoying those little moments, because you're never gonna get today back, man. That's the hard truth of reality.
Well, it is. And, so whether I'm talking to moms or even if I'm talking to someone who is single, one of the things that I really teach that, I've had to learn, and we've all heard of it, is just mindfulness. And, it's just being present in every moment is really all that means. There's nothing woo woo or crazy or out there about it. It's just literally, we are so distracted in our society, and we're so distracted as people, whether we're moms or not. But I do see so many moms who are very distracted, and and I hate that, because our children need us. They need our attention. They need our focus. And I'm not saying, all day every day that they can't entertain themselves or anything like that. But I'm just saying, as people, we have become so distracted. We don't have much of an attention span anymore because we're so used to these things, right? And
Yep.
that consumes our attention, and it's made us a society of very distracted people. So I tell people, so whether you're a mom or not, let's just say you're out eating with a friend or you're visiting with a friend, just look people in the eyes and be right in that moment, whatever it is you're doing. So even if you're cleaning house or if you're at work at your job, whatever it is that you're doing, there's a Bible verse and I quoted it to my kids and it says, whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all your might. So that would, of course, was to motivate them to do their chores in a very correct way. But we could use that for anything. Like we want to just be present and give our very best to whoever it is we're spending time with or to whatever task we're doing. We want it to be just that focused attention. And that's what we're doing right then. We're not dwelling on the past because that can cause guilt or pain or heartache, and we're also not looking into the future because that can cause anxiety, so just living in the
Mm,
moment is so important.
yeah, and I definitely need to do a lot more of that. That's for sure because, I love the points that you bring up of the past and the future giving, some sort of pain of some sort. Um, but I did remember something I was going to mention was something that my friend had shared with me. It was just a little reel off of Facebook or something. Um, but it was like, for moms that are getting up in like the dead of night and you think like you're all alone and everything, like there's someone else in the world who is doing the exact same thing as you at the exact same time, like bound to be with how big this world is. And I
Oh,
just,
probably on the same street, on the same street, somebody is doing the same thing. But, I was the most miserable mom of newborns because I'm one of those weird people. I've never been a napper. And I'm one of those people, if anything wakes me up in the middle of the night, I can't go back to sleep for like 2 hours. So I was in this awful cycle of, like they would wake up to feed and I would feed them. I'd be so tired and I'd lay them back down and they would go right back to sleep. And then I would lay in bed for like an hour, close to 2 hours, and I would just drift off and they would wake up again and we would do the whole thing all over again. I was so exhausted. So, count your blessings if you can go right back to sleep.
Yeah, well, that's the only struggle we're having right now is getting him to sleep on his own because of the little growth spurt that he's in and such. So I can sleep, it just may not be on my own. But
Yes,
then
exactly.
but then it's a lot better when no one else is in the bed with us because my anxiety like does not turn off when I'm asleep.
Yeah. Oh,
So
absolutely.
it
Yeah.
it definitely and that I feel like that just kind of speaks to the fine like it's a balance, but I hate using the word balance, but it's that fine line between, enjoying the moment but also dealing with the things you have to deal with and, so on and so forth. Do you have any tips, I guess, would be my main next question, that are like your biggest giveaways that you give to people, like do this, don't do this, besides a few things that we've already mentioned, I know.
I think some of my biggest tips again kind of goes toward, yes, like enjoying the moment, living in the moment. But I definitely give a lot of advice as far as like how do we structure our day, like if we're at home with the kids all the time, during the day, so whether it's a newborn or whether you choose to homeschool or whatever, you know um we need to be good managers of our time. And that's one of the things that I definitely teach as tips. So, some tips to go along with that. Number one, like the best thing that you can do with babies or with kids is to put them on a routine. And so many people in our community just go, oh, in our culture, like that's a bad word. But, I worked as a nurse. I worked for a long period of time in the well baby nursery. And of course, that was connected with the NICU. And they were hardcore in there for a very specific reason on putting them on a super strict feeding schedule. And these babies, that's part of why they would thrive and why they would end up getting well and they could go home. And then they would always kind of chuckle, they would talk back with these moms a few weeks later and be like, I don't understand. Like, they were on a good schedule. Well, mom took them off the routine, and then if they don't have their feeding routine down, they don't have their sleep routine down. Like they definitely are intertwined. But
Mm.
kids in general thrive on a routine. And so I was always like we kind of had our day planned out pretty well. Like I knew exactly when nap time was going to be. And I would be like, okay, like from this time to this time, we're going to have reading time. And from this time to this time, we'll play with whatever, And I even did that. My daughter's 13. And like this summer when we were not doing homeschooling, the days can get long. I mean, everyone watching this feels that if you have kids at home in the summer only, how long those days can get. And so we're pretty big on doing time blocking. That's something that I teach moms too. And that just means that like you can print it out, or we just write it out starting from like, when we get up, we break it down by the hour, and we'll just have in general, okay, like what we're going to be doing. And for her, I have her dig in and look around. Okay. So like she works on cross stitch, and she loves to read, so I don't have to worry about forcing her to read. But it really just brings that structure, because then when they're busy doing something is when you can get things done as well in your home, because things have to get done in your home. Things do have to
Yeah.
get cleaned, and laundry has to get done, and spending the time, the one-on-one time with the kids, that's always been important to me, just giving them that quality time. So one, I guess some of the other tips that I get is, meal planning, doing the routine, planning your day, because then nothing is a surprise. So many
Mm.
moms are super, super frazzled because they don't plan for anything. And then they're always being surprised by something, like it's a surprise that they have to make dinner or something. And if they haven't planned for that, they're just staring at the pantry and in the refrigerator going, I have no idea what I'm cooking, And so the meal planning thing, and I don't plan every single meal, but I plan out my dinners. And that way I know, okay, do I need to thaw something out? Do I need to marinate something? Do I need to
Right.
soak beans? There's a slew of different things. That is just something that you can look, because you know what you're going to be doing that night. And it really takes the stress out of the dinner routine, because you're prepared and you have a plan. So a plan is very important.
Mm, I absolutely love that. And I know the thing that I've been learning is there's a difference between, a rigid schedule and a flexible routine. And
Yes.
especially with the newborn, like it has to be a flexible routine because you have growth spurts, so they're going to be eating more sometimes and not really want to sleep, especially on their own. So like anytime I try to put him down, he's like, "Oh no, I want to eat again. You woke me up." Um, but yeah, no, definitely. If you can too, like meal prepping in a sense of not having to do as much work for yourself. Like we are so blessed that my mom and my aunt came and made a bunch of meals for us and put it in our freezer. And they're hopefully doing that again this weekend. And it's been just such a blessing to not have to worry about what we're gonna eat. I just have to say, "Oh, do we have enough left? I need to go get another one out of the freezer."
Yeah. That's
um,
wonderful.
yeah, it really is. And then I saw an idea on Reels. Again, that's all there is nowadays. That's like the only thing people reference, or at least I do. Anyways, of a lady just putting like, prepping a whole meal in a gallon bag and then freezing that and then just thawing it out and throwing it in a crock pot. I'm like, oh, I am definitely doing that in the future.
Yes, absolutely. And like when you have some one-on-one help with the baby, that's when you can go in there and you can chop some vegetables. You can prep all kinds of things for the week. And if you do have something going on, say around dinner time, and it's going to be crazy, you can look at doing the crock pot. Or I have it's a pressure cooker. It's like an instant pot, so we'll just call it instant pot since everybody knows what that is. But that just makes things cook a lot faster. So like you can utilize that. We have so many awesome gadgets today that kind of help get dinner on the table a little bit faster. But yeah, anything that you can do on the front end is going to help. Or like if you even like during like that day, you can look and go, okay, this is what I'm making for dinner tonight. So I can go ahead and get XYZ ready. And then you're a little bit more prepared, and it can be. And I didn't ever strap my babies on. I don't ever remember seeing anyone like wearing the babies when I had babies. But now I'm like,
Oh yeah.
man, that would be awesome. Strap them on and go about your business. I just used the swing. That was like what I used.
Yeah, that's what someone else said to me, is that the baby wearing is definitely a newer thing um in today's world, and I love it, and I need to get me a second one so that I can do it more efficiently. 'Cause, yeah, this one gets dirty and then I'm like, well, I can't do that anymore. Um but yeah, so just to wrap it up in these last couple of 5 minutes, sorry for my thumb. I'm holding my phone on the wrong side. Um, if you wouldn't mind sharing, the best ways for people to get a hold of you, kind of maybe even what you could offer in the way of one-on-one help, like what that kind of looks like to work with you.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I know some of the links has been showing as we've been talking. So my website is Frugal Healthy Home, and I do blog on there. And so I blog now. My daughter. Here's the little tidbit. If anyone goes there, if anyone sees the section called Kids Corner, my daughter is 13, and this is like a fabulous homeschool thing to do because she asked if she could have a section on the blog, and I was like, huh, I'm kind of liking this
Oh
idea.
my
She's
gosh.
yeah.
Yes.
So she is if you go there, I think it's called Creative Kids Corner. And she's done like some different craft kind of things. But she's done some different recipes. She loves Harry Potter. So she's done all kinds of little super creative little Harry Potter themed different types of things. But otherwise, I do blog on there. I blog on some things on natural health, some things on, frugal things that you can do just around your home that you can make, like whether it's making your own deodorant or lotion or whatever. But I have a section on there called self-care for moms, and I have a ton of stuff on there just for caring for yourself, taking time to care for yourself, how to decrease your anxiety, all kinds of different things on that section. And I did a huge, it was like a 6 week little series, I guess, on grains, like what whole grains are. And like I grind my own wheat and make my own bread. And so I did a whole big thing on there. If anyone's interested in that, I've got all kinds of fun little things on there so that you can learn more of how to do that and why you would want to do that. So that's a great place to find out more about me, is on my site. And then otherwise, I do have a private Facebook group, and I think that has been kind of scrolling on there too. Yeah, and I don't know why it has the number, but you can look up Healthy
It's because
Christian
it's the link.
Okay. And a lot of times it'll say the actual name after it, which is Healthy Christian Mama. So you can look up, either of those. And like I said, that is a private group. I go live on there and just give out all kinds of good tidbits. As far as working one-on-one with me, I do have a program, and it's a 12-week program. And like I said, we kind of break it down. It's not super strict because everyone has different needs at different times, and somebody might just need to have vent that entire session about something that they're struggling with, and that's fine. But as a general rule, we do have about a month where we talk about body. So like I said at the beginning, so many people don't realize that they're not feeling up to snuff, and they're not feeling their best because of the things that they're putting into their body. So we do talk a lot about that. And then we spend about a month on healthy mind. And so again, that's a lot on how we manage stress, the sleep that we get, our emotions, our relationships. Okay, that's super important. And then we talk about healthy spirit, and a lot of that again, so from my perspective as a Christian, that's, who does God say we are, and what does that look like in community? So I saw that Ronald asked what community means to me. A community means to me, honestly, my community is my church family. That's super important to me. Not everyone has a church family, but everyone needs some sort of support, and spiritual support is super important. So that's definitely one thing that I say with community. And again, like I talked at the beginning too, like if someone is a mom, whatever stage you're in, find other moms who are in the same stage. Or what my best advice, I have always done this, my best friend is 10 years older than me. So if you can have a mom kind of, so in my world I would say disciple, but if you can have a mom lead you that's ahead of you and has already been there, like this friend, like she has an adopted daughter from China. I have an adopted daughter from China. So when I was walking through my adoption process, which that is not anything like having a newborn, that is a rough process. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I had about a year of just like, what on earth did I do? And it really changed the dynamic of our family a lot. But she was able to walk through that with me because she had done that. And like when
Right.
I had some struggles with my older son, guess what? She has some struggles with her older son too when he was that age. And so I really encourage people to have a good friend above you that has been there, done that, and that can guide you and give you some good solid advice, in that stage of life or whatever. So anyway, I hope that covered the questions that you asked there.
Oh yeah, and I absolutely love that you answered Ron's question. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. So yeah, I think I've asked all my questions. Do you have anything extra to add? We're kind of up on time anyways.
I
But did
think
you
that
have
is
anything else?
I think that's it from my end.
Alrighty, well, and usually I say goodbye and then close off on my own, but I think we're good for today. I have something else that I need to get to nonetheless. So yeah,
Yes.
thank you for joining me and presenting all this wonderful information and looking so fabulous, I must say, because I'm not looking great. But you look
Well,
amazing and I love
my
everything about your
background,
camera.
my
I
background,
know it looks
however,
great.
I have it blurred with a purpose because we've been moving all week. And so it's like there's just boxes and junk all behind me. I'm
Oh
like,
wow.
just blur the background.
Oh my goodness. No, I definitely understand that. Because my house always looks like a disaster whether I'm moving or not. But no, it looks great and I love it. So yeah, thank you again for joining me, and I hope that our audience got as much out of this as I did, honestly. And yeah, I just can't thank you enough, and this was absolutely perfect. And yeah, I guess we'll just sign off. Thank you everyone who tuned in, all of our live viewers. Sorry, I just did that again. Anyone watching the replay or listening to the podcast. So yeah, thank you everyone, and we will see you next week with a new beginnings, a new month, which starts literally tomorrow. So yeah, nonetheless, love you guys. Thanks for joining us, and good night. Have a good one.
Thank
Bye.
you.